Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Over the Top Row podcast with your host, Cito K Talk Show. Excuse me, Cito K Covers to Kill. It is November 1st, 2025. It is Thanksgiving's month, a month to give thanks to the Lord. And thank you for all our blessing and everything that he does for us. And it's a month of family. It is 8:07 p.m. We are live from Dunkirk, New York. There's a lot of things that I need to say. A lot of things that I have to say. A lot of things that I need to say. And I'm going to start like this. I was learned that when a legend speaks, somebody that has more years than you, somebody has more experience than you, somebody that is trying to get you an advice, you should listen. You should definitely listen. And I do understand. I do understand that not everybody's going to listen to you, and because they're hot headed. A lot of people, some people are hot headed, and they're not going to listen to you, no matter how you want to give somebody an advice. They're not going to listen to you. They won't listen to what they are going to listen, whatever their mind, that's what I'm trying to say, whatever the mind tells them to do. And how do a situation, I'm not going to say what it is, how do a situation where had a conversation with someone and person thought that I was being rude, which I wasn't. Thought that I was being rude. Thought that I was like I was disrespecting people. But at the same time, there's one thing that it says: when somebody listen to somebody that is older than you should listen. Even me, I'm 42 years old, and there's people that have more years than me wrestling, and I listen. I open a ear and I listen, because when you get an advice, you will get older. You will get to whatever you want to go. Now, it just was the idea of, I want to say this. I do understand that every backyard wrestler wants to make it out there. Like, that's a dream. That's a dream of a backyard wrestler. Even now, even an indie pro wrestler, or a pro wrestler, or that TNA and WWE, what right out there, and their dream is to, excuse me, is to make it out there. Anybody has, it's nice to have dreams. It's nice to have dreams. Like, I had dreams that I did, and I had dreams that I never couldn't make it. That's life. Our brain is full of dreams that one day we might want to do, or we want to do, but in order to get to that dream. There's some things that you need to do. You just can't say, okay, I had a good show today. I had a good show today. I'm going to start selling tickets. No, this trust and believe. Listen to me. I always wanted to sell tickets. In backyard wrestling, you might can do it, but you might cannot do it. I could understand if it was an independent wrestling. I could understand. There's a lot of things when it comes to backyard wrestling. A lot of people need to understand that backyard wrestling is just a gathering of people that are having fun in a yard. I'm gonna say it again. Um, Backyard wrestling is just a gathering of people that having fun in the yard. But if you want to, if you okay, for example, you have a backyard wrestling fed. It's not a company. I'm gonna clear this up. There's no backyard wrestling companies. There are feds. That's it. I laugh at people say, "Oh, we are a backyard wrestling company." No, you're not. You are not a backyard wrestling company. Backyard wrestling is not a. It doesn't have companies. It has feds. It's a backyard wrestling fed. Okay. Number two, if you want to go ahead and sell tickets while you in a backyard wrestling, there's a lot of things that you need to do. This, I want to say this. There's no law in the United States that says that it's required in backyard wrestling, it's required to sell tickets. It's not required because it's not a company. You could Google it and it will tell you straight up. For you to sell tickets, one thing that you need to do, you need to get your LCC or LLC. Um, okay, you could get your LLC license, which is different. It costs, let's say, it might be cheap in some states, but in some other states, not cheap to do or to buy. Number two, you're gonna have to have a real ring, not a ring that is built by you. That is no. And I'm gonna tell you why you need a real ring, not a ring that okay. I'm gonna put some posts. I'm gonna put some beds. I'm gonna put some mattresses, and I'm gonna no. You can't really sell tickets because, for example, let's say that oh, I wanna go to a venue. Okay, for you to get a venue, you still need your LLC or LLC or LCC license. You need that. Number two, you need a real ring. Because when you have a real ring while you in the venue, you're gonna have to dismantle. You're gonna have to put a ring together, dismantle a ring, put a ring together when before the show. After the show, you're gonna have to dismantle the ring. Now, while you're dismantling a ring, you're gonna need to have a ring crew that you are going to pay because nobody's gonna do it for free. Nobody's gonna do it for free. Trust and believe nobody's gonna do it for free. Then while being dependent, it's a lot to do. You're gonna have to pay the referees. You're gonna have to pay the camera crew. You're gonna have to pay the ring crew. You're gonna have to pay what is it called, the sound crew, people that deal with the lights, people that deal with the entrance, people. It's a lot of people that you need to pay. You just can't, you gotta pay the ring. I mean, the wrestlers, the referees. It's a lot of people that you need to pay. You just can go ahead and say, okay, I want to do a show in a venue, but okay, but at the same time, it's okay. I gotta pay the ring crew. I gotta pay the camera crew, sound crew. I gotta pay referees. I gotta pay wrestling. I gotta pay the rent because it's one thing when you go to a venue, you're gonna have to rent the venue. Or even if you, let's say for example, like there is a wrestling that I used to be um, in Rochester, New York. It's called the KDW, and it's at Pineapple Jacks, which is a bar. And you enter the bar. When you enter it's a bar, but then there's a door that's all the way in the back. It's passing the bar. It's passing all the chairs or whatever. There's a door. Once you open it, there is a space there where there's a ring and there's two floors where there's chairs and stuff. So you need to understand that to get a venue, you're gonna have to rent the venue. You're gonna have to pay the owner. That's a lot of money. Let's say, for example, I want to do shows. I want to do show for a month. Once a month, I want to do a show, right? Okay. Depends how much the owner told you. Okay, you're gonna have to. This is how much you're gonna be the rent. Okay, the rent might be 300 a month, 400 a month, 500 a month. Fine. Okay, so now you gotta pay the rent. One thing is when you go to a venue, you need to be very careful because everything that you break, you're gonna have to pay that. You're gonna have to pay that. Let's say, for example, the venue is, the ceiling is very, it's not very tall, right? The venue, the ceiling of the venue is not tall. The ring is almost touching to the ceiling. You gotta be very careful because, of course, there's a lot of high flyers, and you got to when you get on top of the third row, you're gonna have to either put yourself down to jump because once you jump, your feet's gonna hit the ceiling. You break that ceiling, you're gonna have to pay for that. You're gonna have to pay for that. There's a lot of things to get there that you need to do. I've been doing this for 34 years, and trust and believe, I never got paid for backyard wrestling. I have never got paid when I did backyard wrestling. Never, never, not even $5. Not even. Okay, not even $2. Not even $2 I got paid because backyard wrestling is for fun. I don't. I get it. I understand. We do have. I mean, I support everybody that has their their vision. It's wonderful to have a vision, but at the same time, like right now, I have a backyard wrestling here in Duncan, New York. You know why we still have to do shows? There's no place in Duncan, New York for us to wrestle. There's no place. Now, if okay, for me, I don't. If okay, if I was living a like, look, I'm living in a building where I live in an apartment. But had if I had first a place that's a big backyard, maybe I would do it. But then if I was renting, right, I'm gonna have to speak to my landlord first. That's one thing I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to speak to my landlord, and tell him, hey, can I have to ask permission first. You know that you're gonna have to ask permission. It's one thing that if the house was yours, it's different. You know what I mean? But it's a lot to do to get there. I can say, okay, I have somebody that a connection, but you need to understand that whatever that run that you do is going to fall on your connection. I got plenty of connections. I got plenty of connections. I know a lot of people. Trust and believe. But here's the thing: for you to sell tickets, the first thing you need to do, you need to get out of the backyard wrestling scene. You cannot call yourself a backyard wrestling anymore. Because once you're selling, once you got your LCC, once you got your venue, you're not a backyard wrestling anymore. You are independent wrestling, which means that you could sell tickets, get a crowd, but now here's this: nobody, no company that I know, I work with, I promote, nobody's gonna pay more than $20 of a ticket. Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. And unless you TNA, unless you WWE, unless you AEW, unless you what else? What else? TNA, AEW, NXT, WWE, Ring of Honor. Unless you are those type of wrestlings and Booker T's wrestling and then the Santinos, unless you are okay, yeah, but they are not going to sell a ticket for over the $20. It's ridiculous because they are independent, indie wrestling, local wrestling. I could I could have bring right here pro wrestlers, indie pro wrestlers that I know, and if I ask the question, okay, would your company sell $50 ticket? They will laugh at me like I'm crazy because nobody is going to pay $50 for a nobody's gonna do it. I could understand, for example, um, I'm indie pro wrestling, right? Because for me, like I said, for me to have a venue, for me to have the LCC, for me to the LCC license and get a venue and do that stuff. I need to get up on myself from the backyard wrestling scene. I cannot call myself a backyard wrestler. Once I do, I got the LCC. Once I have the real ring. Once I have the people, the ring crew, the sound crew, the mic crew, the in you know light crew, whatever, whatever crew is out there in the wrestling. Um, of course, I gotta pay. Okay, okay. Here's one thing. Here's one thing I want to say. Okay, let's say you sell tickets. From those tickets, from whatever that you make in the tickets, you're gonna have to pay people. You're gonna have to pay people. You're gonna have to pay the referees. All that stuff, promoters and the promoter, promoters and all that stuff. You're gonna. It's a lot to do. I don't when I give an advice to someone. I'm not attacking no one. I'm not trying to snatch your I'm not trying to snatch it. I'm just trying to support you and at the same time I don't want you to go out there without being prepared. You need to get yourself together. Your first of all, you need the first thing you need to do. You need to get out of the backyard wrestling scene. For example, what I cannot say live, because no, I cannot say live. No, I can't say that. I don't have permission to say live. You guys will see in 1 or 2 years. You guys will see in 1 or 2 years what I'm been cooking in the shadows. You guys will see. You guys will when you guys see me there. You guys say, oh, okay, I know what C2K is talking about now. But that might be the 1 or 2 years. I'm not gonna say that. But what I'm trying to say this is you can't. There's no law in the United States that requires a backyard wrestling fed, not a company. I want to clear this out. A backyard wrestling fed, not a company. A company is an indie pro wrestling company, a pro wrestling company. We are backyard wrestling feds. That's it. For us to is this there's two different routes. You got the backyard wrestling and you got the indie pro wrestling. It's two different routes, two different words. It's one thing, okay, okay, let's say, I'm wrestling in the backyard, I'm having fun with my friends, and we do gather everybody and we just wrestle. Yes, I can have people to see us. I can have family. I can have, yes, I could still, I could still have, I could still promote, but at the same time, here's the thing. Even though if they, even though if they offer the money, I cannot take it from them. I got to tell them, listen, this is a free show. This is a free show. You know, this is backyard wrestling. This is a free show. You guys come and we don't have no seats, but you gotta bring your seats, bring your own seats, whatever. And we might have some, beverage. We're gonna have some beverage or whatever. And that's another thing too. Now that I say that, not only that you need to pay. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna put my head back from this one. Let's say, for example, I rent a venue, right? For every show, you're gonna have to have people that are gonna sell food, are gonna sell drinks, because while you do a show, if you want to do an indie pro wrestling show, you're gonna have to do a break, right? Let's say you're wrestling. Let's say bell time is like probably 6 p.m. Right? No, no, no. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7. I wrestle from 7 to at least 7 to, I want to say, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Right? There's gonna have to be a break, right? You have a break where the audience have the opportunity to take pictures with the wrestlers. So the wrestlers gonna come from the back. They're gonna come in. They're gonna come out, and they're gonna you could take pictures with the wrestlers and interact with the wrestlers. At the same time, there's gonna be people that are hungry, and they're gonna have to go where they're gonna buy their food. Um, yeah, they're gonna buy their food, whatever. They're gonna buy their drinks. So let's say, for example, break is going to be probably 10, 15 minutes break. Everybody comes back and whatever. So you're gonna have to pay those people too. You're gonna have to pay those people too. Yeah, they make it the money, but you're gonna have to pay them too. Those are tips for them. But as an owner, I need to pay them. They're working for me. I'm the owner of let's say I'm the owner of an indie pro wrestling. They working for me. So I need to pay them too. You need to have the money to do that. All right, let's say, okay, what is it? We travel. Okay, we're gonna talk about that. The traveling part. Let's talk about the traveling part. To travel, um, you need money. You need money to travel. You have to find a way how you want to get your people from point A to point B and from point B back to point A. Let's say, for example, okay, we have a show, blah, 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 in Rochester, New York. And I'm from, let's say, for example, I'm from Nebraska. We have a show, wrestling in Nebraska, and we're gonna go to Rochester. And now here's the thing: it's one thing you're gonna have to. I want to say this. Well, okay, how am I going to say this? Let's say there's a venue and we're in Rochester, New York. Of course, you're gonna have to pay the venue. You're gonna have to pay the rent for that day. At the same time, either you want to bring your ring, you're gonna have to find a way how you want to get your ring from point A to point B, by from point B back to point A. Now, let's say, for example, let's say that, okay, I'm in Dunker, and I have a show in RWE, Rochester, New York. I'm going to be using somebody's ring. I'm going to be using somebody's venue. So I'm going to have to pay the person I could understand if it was for yourself. I could understand if it was for yourself. I could understand if, you know, I'm talking about if it was indie pro wrestling, but backyard wrestling is a little different. When you're a backyard wrestler, you're going to have to find yourself where not only the tick to, to pay the tickets, either you're going to travel by train, either you're going to travel by train or you're going to travel by in an airplane, or you're gonna drive, or somebody's gonna drive you. Now, let's say you don't have a car. Let's say that you are whoever's coming with you is a wrestler too, and you're gonna have to pay for gas. Now, it depends what the driver is gonna ask you. Like for example, let's say from here to Dunkirk, I mean from here to Rochester. For me, round trip. Okay, let's say for example, if I want to pay, and if I go into on a train, first I gotta take a bus from here. A bus from here to Buffalo, $6, which is okay. Round trip is $12. Now, either if I'm going on the train, one way is $23. Round trip is going to be $43. In a bus, gonna say almost it will be almost $50. Almost $50, round trip. Now here's another thing. Either let's say for example you're driving with someone and you go and gonna go and wrestle. Let's say for example if I wrestle in RCEW, no RWE, right? If I'm going with someone, if I don't have a place to stay, I'm gonna have to wrestle and leave the same day to come back with the person that is driving me. Now you're talking about round trip. It depends on what the driver is going to say. For example, okay, well, it's going to be round trip. It might be $60. It might be $70 for gas. It might be $80 for gas. Right? But if you are, let's say, I'm going to be there for 3 days, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay for not only for your ticket, but you're gonna have to pay for, get, have money for your food. At the same time, you're gonna have to pay for in a hotel or a motel. That's another thing. Let's say, for example, in Rochester, it's a little bit expensive when it comes to a motel or a hotel. 3 days might be close to $200. Yeah, probably 3 days, close to $200, probably. Then I'm gonna have to, if for example I'm with someone and we have a hotel, you don't know if the person going to want to sleep in the same room with you. You don't know if that person gonna have his own room, his own privacy. You see, I want you guys to listen because it's a lot of things that you need to do. It's a lot of things that you need to do. Being a backyard wrestler in a pro wrestling, in the pro wrestler, is not easy to be. It's not. Now, okay. That's when you talk about backyard wrestling. But now, if you're an indie pro wrestler, you want to go to be an indie pro wrestling, then and you have a lot of people, you're gonna have to find out who is going. That's number one. Gonna find out who is going. You're gonna have to either find a way if they're gonna pay for the ticket. And what if they don't have the money? Then you're gonna have to pay them or do something so your people can go. You see, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things, and I can tell you because I was there. I know how it is. I was in indie pro wrestling. I was in backyard wrestling. I know how it is. It's a big jump. Jumping from backyard wrestling to being indie pro wrestling is a whole different world. It's a big jump. You know what I mean? A lot of us have tried. And when we found the reality, we say, why? Why we should do it? You know what I mean? And the thing is this, man, it just, I support a lot of people, but at the same time, I was learned that when a legend speaks to you, you need to listen. Just listen. Just listen. You know, got fired from a wrestling. That's fine. That's okay with me. It's fine with me. You know, one because after this 6 months, I only got 6 months to wrestle. I only got 6 months to wrestle, and I'm done with wrestling. Where I do not want to come back. Where once I take my shoes off, my wrestling shoes off, once I take whatever and I put in the ring, I put on that mat on that ring, I'm done. And this is what I'm going to be doing right here shows, podcasts, where I'm going to have some opportunities where I might be a commentator, I might be a general manager, I might be this and I might be that. I only have right now, I got only 10 months. That's it. No, 11 months. Yeah, I only got 11 months to be here. I only got 11 months to be a wrestler. And after this, I'm out. After this, I'm not coming back. I don't care how many times people beg me, I'm not coming back. I already did 34, what? When I go August 23rd to 2026, it's going to be 34 years. That's it. That's what I got. It's 11 months. I got 5 months to rest for my injury, and then I got 6 months to wrestle, and I'm done. I'm retiring. A retirement with no returns. That's it. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to say all these things, and thank you for listening to right here, listening and watching me on Over the Top Road with your host, K Course to Kill. Love you all. Have a great night, and I will see you in the next episode of Over the Top Road with K Course to Kill. Love you all.